Hello and welcome to Pals Pulls. This is the Comics Pals show where every single week we review comics and we share with you guys what's on our pull list. The gang's all here. We've got Marco,
Wait, hold on. I'm doing a thing.
Kale,
Vamp, vamp. What's up, hot dogs?
Tyler.
Whoever signed up my phone number for Ron DeSantis text message alerts, you suck.
That's mean.
Ron DeSantis here. If we don't use our rights, we're going to lose them.
That is mean. I don't know why you would dunk on Ron DeSantis like that.
Sorry?
All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We're not touching that one.
I get Joel Olstein emails because I bought tickets for my aunt to see Joel Olstein.
That
at
guy's got
Yankee
too many
Stadium.
teeth. He's got way too many teeth.
He's not a human.
Morally, he is not. You're right. Correct.
Oh, well, listen. Anyway, I don't want to get sued, so instead of talking about that, we'll share
might
with
have-
you guys.
Maybe
The
that'll be
plan
a
for-
pallet around. I'd like to hear about that.
We'll share with you guys what we're going to be reading today. So, on tap, we have Thunderbolts #1. We've got Amazing Fantasy 1000,
Ooh,
celebrating the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man.
That Campbell cover.
J. Scott Campbell?
Yeah.
That's
Case-
not cheesecake?
We've got Ant-Man #2.
Ooh.
Ooh, who's that cover?
Boy, can I not tell you.
I think it's the guy who does like the action figure variants. If you remember those.
It's Betsy
Oh, yeah,
Cola.
those rule.
Nope, it's not
Betsy
that.
Cola.
Yeah, Betsy Cola. I love this cover.
I like a nice glass of Pepsi Cola.
And this week and going forward, as we announced last week on the show, I believe, towards the end, we are instituting a permanent listener pick slot. So every week, one of the books that we read is going to be a book that you guys chose. And so, sorry?
I just say you.
Yes. And so we put the call out and we got some listener suggestions. And this one that we chose, the one we chose, came from Nihilus over on the Discord. We are reading Forever Forward #1. This is, I think, the first Scout Comics book that we're doing.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds
Definitely
about right.
since
At
I've been
least.
here. I don't know if you guys did it before Pals Polls was the thing, but
I don't know.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
We had the Ahoy guys on the show.
Yeah. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, we'll see how we feel about it. Our first time with Scout. But if this is your first time with us, I do want to let you guys know how you can find us and support us all over the internet. Patreon.com/thecomicspals is the absolute best way to support us, but we appreciate just listening, just commenting, just subscribing, following us wherever it is that it's possible for you to do so. Patreon.com/thecomicspals for as little as $3 a month. You can support your boys, and you can get our access to our newsletter. You can get tons of other stuff. There's a lot going on over there. Our exclusive show, Palling Around, is over there. We've got a lot going on. So check us out all over the internet at the Comics Pals. Let's jump in. Let's talk about Thunderbolts #1. So this is, or I'm sorry. I didn't mean to switch the order. Let's talk about amazing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just
Amazing
gonna ignore
Fantasy
it and just
1000.
pass by
Sorry.
Amazing Fantasy.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So this is by a whole host of creators. 60 years of Spider-Man, if you can believe that.
Thought you were gonna say 60 years of creators.
Not quite. And some notable absences as well. But there are 8 stories total. We got some heavy hitters for sure. You've got names like Olivier Coipel, Jonathan Hickman, Marco Cicchetto, Dan Slott, Jim Chung, Neil Gaiman, and Steve McNeven. What a team! Oh my
That was
goodness.
wild. I can't wait to talk about that
Yeah.
one.
Yep. Busiek, the Dodson, Sabino, lots of really, really great creators and teams, and a lot that I didn't mention, but we'll shout people out as we discuss these stories. We'll go in order of the stories. We don't have to belabor them necessarily, but yeah. So the first one is Just Some Guy, written by Anthony Falcone and Michael Cho, with art by Michael Cho, letters by Joe Sabino. This is a fun little story about essentially Spider-Man's relationship with a criminal that has lasted quite some time. What'd you guys think of this one?
It's fun.
I
It's a
have
lot of
not
fun.
seen Michael Cho interiors, and I don't even remember the last time I've seen him do interiors. This was great. I loved the art on this.
Yeah.
There's especially that one page where it's just it's this goon flashing back to all the different times that Spider-Man caught him throughout the years. There's like a demon
Yeah.
invasion, which is probably Inferno. There was like when Galactus showed up, Secret Invasion. I loved it. I thought this was great. And it had Fancy Dan in it. I love a good Fancy Dan.
Yo,
Yeah.
I love the Enforcers.
Yeah, I love the
Man.
Enforcers.
They're awesome.
I love the conceit too. The guy's just like, listen, something crazy's happening. I'm robbing something.
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean,
I
you know
agree.
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Sound logic. Um, the art reminded me a bit of Smallwood. Has like those like sandy textures to it sometimes, and yeah, I thought the story beat was just great. It was it all ties together in the end when he tells him like the importance of who he is in, I guess, Spider-Man's just crime fighting career, and how that ties together with his ultimate message of like some sort of responsibility because he has the power. And I had a lot of fun with this thing. This and then the following story were probably my favorites.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good one. There's a mix of creators that we know really well, and some who are newer. And Anthony Falcone is not a name that I have seen before that I can recall, but I thought this was a very, very good story. I I think a lot of people that love Spider-Man comic books love the fact that Spider-Man is almost like a regular dude who puts on a suit and goes and fights crime, but is really like a regular dude, like a hood fixture. You know what I'm saying? Like if you walked by the corner, you saw the same guy all the time, you built a relationship with him over the years.
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man is like that for New York. And the idea that he would have a relationship like this with a villain who, is a small time petty dude that Spider-Man just, webs up, leaves around, throws him in jail, and they keep doing this, but he's harmless ultimately, certainly harmless to Spider-Man. I like that idea.
There's like something wholesome about it,
Right.
and I very much enjoyed that. That's what the premise of this was something smaller, to the ground, and wholesome in that way of just, hey, you're a small time crook. I still gotta stop you. Like no hard feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Do you guys-
the use of the the spider signal, love it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love the
that.
spider signal.
Haven't seen that in a while. Did you guys get Hannah Vardit's Spidey zine way back when?
No.
It's
No.
all about what you just described. It's like Spider-Man is swinging home with Chinese for he and Aunt May, and he's sitting on a stoop singing the Cowboy Bebop song to his head, and a lady comes around the corner and she's like, hey, some weirdos are following me. Can you hang out with me on the subway? And he like explains the plot to Cowboy Bebop and why it's cool.
That's
And that's it.
awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Those are small time stories that evoke kind of like some of the classic Spider-Man stuff. A few years ago, I went through I think I want to say the first 60, maybe 70 issues of Spider-Man. and it was all that. It was just like smaller time, like yeah, your goofy villains and stuff, but then sometimes it was just like he's freaking out about a test, or he's freaking out about whatever, he's running late for a date, and stuff happens in between, and that's the kind of storytelling that I think it makes it a bit more interpersonal, because you're examining not the character that's there, but the person underneath that mask.
Yeah, yeah. This was definitely one of my favorite stories from this anthology. And by the way, this was I thought a really good anthology.
Oh
I
man,
loved
yeah.
it. Yeah.
This was one of the best ones I've read, certainly in a long time. And that is exemplified by the next story.
Yes.
So Spider-Man versus his Sinister 60th. This is the Dan Slott story, Jim Chung on art. You had J. David Ramos did the colors, and Joe Sabino on letters. You know what? This is one of my favorite Spider-Man stories ever.
Yeah,
Yep.
this was very good.
Yeah,
Dan Slott just gets Spider-Man.
yeah.
Like, at his core, he just gets it. I know he can be a bit of a... I don't know. People like to have hot takes about Dan Slott and his writing and stuff. But the dude just gels when he's on Spider-Man.
This was good. It hits emotional beats. I think the obviously the twist where he gets shot, like right, would not have expected that coming. Even though he's older in the context, he's 60 in this, right? It's his birthday.
Yeah.
And he's stopping somebody from he's stopping a guy from robbing a woman at gunpoint, and then he just gets fucking shot. I jaw dropped. I'm just like, holy shit, did they just do that? And then you flip to the next page, and he's just it's almost a half page spread, and he's just on the floor bleeding out. I'm like, holy shit, they did this. That's crazy.
And the guy goes in for like 5 more shots. He's like,
Yeah, what the fuck? I was like, holy, chill out.
yeah.
And listen, you gotta come after Spider-Man. You better make sure he's down.
That's true.
Dude,
yeah.
right at that point, yeah.
I love the use of of his first costume in this.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that.
It's a little it's also like wrinkled all around, which I thought was a really nice touch, because obviously he's older, he's lost some of that muscle mass, some of like the youthfulness, and it's represented in the actual costume, so you get context to it even before you actually see the text of like, oh, way to spend the big O, the 6-0, right? It's like, oh yeah, he
It's funny, you just muted yourself.
no, somebody muted
Oh,
me.
I think I muted him by mistake.
Oh, I thought I was going nuts.
I was like, huh, what just happened?
I was futzing
Next story.
around.
We're going to the next story, Mark.
Well, shit, I didn't realize I had that power. I might have to start exercising that. You guys better
Abuse.
watch out. But no, finish what you were saying, Michael. Sorry about that.
I don't remember the suit. It was good.
Yeah, it was. This is like, you ever read something that a writer wrote? You know, if you're a creative, maybe you've had this experience where you're just like, damn it, that's so good. And like, you're happy because it's really good, but you're also like, man, I wish this was, I wish I had told this one, you know? This is a Spider-Man story for the ages. It's an all-timer. And it hits at the core of who Spider-Man is. You know, yes, I can see Spider-Man doing this into his 60s. I love the idea that it doesn't matter how long it takes, you know, like, and I almost want to do like a Spider-Man retrospective, which I kind of feel like we should. But like, Spider-Man is not a crusader for vengeance like Batman is. You know what I'm saying? Like, Spider-Man doesn't have a mission to end crime in the same way that Batman does. Spider-Man has a mission and a commitment to do the best he can. And I think that resonates with, you know, everyday people more, because we may not be swinging around fighting crime all the time, but we're all trying to do our best. And the idea that for 60 years, Spider-Man has been doing, not 60, but, you know, that for however long Peter's been Spider-Man, he's been doing his best, you know, and he's been, it's been working, and he's had so much success, and all of New York is rooting for him. And here, this one time in a routine situation, it just doesn't go his way. And the support that he gets from everyday average people, like, it almost brought a tear to my eye. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, I felt it as well.
And then drawn by Jim Chung too.
Yeah, dude.
I think I particularly liked as well when all the the doctors and the ER people were like, "Whoa, hold on, like half mask, they have protocol already in the event of, because he's been doing it for so long. It has become probably public knowledge within that field to be like, this is how we operate in this situation because we've been seeing it for so long that this is just integrated and integral into our flow chart, our process at that point. That I thought was also a really nice touch.
Yeah. Yeah. Just I want to like gush so much about it. Like everything that Slott set up works so well. Like, oh, Peter's late for the dinner, and you think that's going to be the story.
Yeah.
He's late for the dinner, and he's going to be out all night, and he's just going to be, doing what he does, and she's going to be like, another birthday, no Peter or whatever. And then maybe they have maybe when she gets home, he sets up a nice little dinner for them to have, at 5 a.m. after he's tired and done beating everybody up. But it supplants your expectations, and then it's a whole different story. But then it still ends at that place of comfort. Mm-hmm. It still has that ending where it's like, okay, everything's okay. I love this so much. I really, really did.
I also like how in the future there is still a Vulture. Like, it's like one of those dorky ideas, but like somebody still wants to be the Vulture. So
I almost wish it was Shocker.
Oh, a different connotation nowadays.
Maybe back then too. I don't know. The next one was Spider-Man versus Conspiraton. This was by another one who I'm not as familiar with, Armando Iannucci, with Ryan Stegman on pencils. J.P. Mayer did the inks, Sonia Oback on colors, and Joe Sabino on the letters. I think that the story here is, funny, I guess, and kind of interesting. There's a hallucinogenic that's causing everyone to see the Daily Bugle incorrectly and stuff. But this is the Ryan Stegman show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so.
Iannucci looks like he is a Scottish satirist.
Oh,
so
never heard of him.
What has Stegman done?
King and
Stegman
Black,
is Donny
Venom.
Cates' partner in crime. They did Venom together. They have the new Kids Love Chains imprint together.
I think he did Souls Inhumans too. Is that true?
Sounds right.
Underrated.
I'm not sure.
Underrated.
This story I thought was coming off of the high that I was with the first two. This one felt like a little bit of like taking a beat. It wasn't as strong. It was fun still, but definitely a bit of a change in tone. The other two are a bit more heartfelt, and this one was more direct to the point. Spider-Man solving some kind of mystery, then beats up not even a mystery. He's just solving something, and then beats up a big guy in a metal suit. All right, run of the mill, pretty standard, but not bad. No, there wasn't anything done wrong in this.
I felt like it was it served its purpose. It was like the last two were kind of, especially the previous one by Slott was a very heady one, very like heartfelt one. This was a little goofy. It like had to fill the goofy slot in there, and I thought it was fun to see all these weird conspiracies these people came up with. I was hearing Alex Jones in my head constantly, but I thought it filled its purpose. Honestly, looking back at this, I can't remember a story in this I didn't like, which is wild for an anthology.
Yeah, like there were stories that were more passable than others, but to say outright like this sucked or no, not at all.
I think for me, this was probably the weakest one. I wasn't crazy about this one.
Sure.
And you know what? That's saying something, right? With all these stories and this being the weakest one, and I feel like we could probably be like, yeah, this is all right.
And what's up with Spider-Man making this kid huff gas? Like,
Yo, right? That was
You know,
aggressive.
looking like
My
the opening to
God.
Midsummer.
There was the and then like out of nowhere, all of these citizens whip out like submachine guns and like assault rifles and shit.
It's America. Come on.
That was funny. Fair enough, but it's also New
Yeah.
York, so
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
On brand.
You can
So
tell
the
it's,
next,
it's a Scottish satirist doing American New York City.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they probably all have guns, right?
Bro, that's how they see you.
It is. Yep.
Like,
I'm walking around just strapped all the time.
it's not a joke.
Next up, we have The Kid's Got a Good Eye by Rainbow Rowell, who wrote it, Olivier Coipel, who did the pencils and inks, Matt Wilson on colors, Ariana Mayer on the letters. Man, Coipel can draw himself some Spider-Man.
Has he ever done like a Spider-Man series?
I
did,
don't know.
The clone one,
Series?
Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
This is next level though compared to Spider-Verse because it's
This
much
is
more subdued.
Way better. Yeah.
And much more. I mean, the story involves it, but it's about slowing down and seeing the people of New York City.
Well, the colors on this are
Mhm.
insane too.
Phenomenal.
I love the double page spread here where it's
Yeah.
just Jonah yelling at Peter and all of the pictures that Peter took of the city, these beautiful, thought-provoking pictures that he took. And Jonah's just trashing them because they're not pictures of Spider-Man. And then the one he likes is, of course, the one where Peter somehow got a shot of himself with the ice cream all over him. It's so good.
Which honestly, I could totally see Spider-Man doing.
Yeah, yeah. And for it to be was it first page worthy?
Yeah.
That was funny.
And it's like, in order for him to get his money, he has to humiliate himself.
Yeah.
But no one knows except for him that he's humiliating himself on the front page of the Bugle. That's good stuff.
I gotta
Yo,
say, Rainbow Royale is very good. There hasn't been stuff by Rainbow that I haven't liked from Marvel so far. She's doing the She-Hulk book right now. Previously, Runaways, which I loved.
Yeah.
I would almost say that Runaways might have been even better than the original stuff. Hot take, but I really enjoyed it. They're killing it. Marco, you wanted to say something, and I think I cut you off, but
I just the moment where Jonah's berating Peter and says, "Write Peter a check, a small check, not too much arithmetic and no commas." It's like, yeah,
That's rough.
It's good.
One thing
Yeah.
I like about this anthology too, with the exception of the last story, just because I think I don't quite remember if it did this or not, but every story in this is so specific. It's set in a very specific time period. Like in this one, you know exactly when it is because Peter's dating Betty.
Yeah. I did like that a lot. I really appreciated that. Those are nice little touches, and people who have had a long history with Spider-Man will appreciate knowing exactly where the writer's trying to slot you into. That's so cool. The next one I think I probably got the least out of, personally. This was In the Flesh by Hoche Anderson, Giuseppe Camuncoli on pencils, Klaus Janson on inks, Jordi Belair on the colors, Clayton Cowles on the letters. I just couldn't find my way into this one. It was a little weird in a way that didn't do anything for me. And I've seen Camuncoli's art look a lot better. The spider that he draws here is pretty cool and convincing. But other than that,
Sean, were you excited for a second? You're like, oh, they brought back that spider character from like Dark Avengers and
yeah, I was like, wait a second,
miniseries. I'm like,
who
he's
is
back.
this?
Which I think is
But-
like the Mexican god of spiders or something. Oh, great character by the way. But no, it was just somebody off their pills.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Oh yeah,
Off our pills or off them pills, if you know what I mean.
or
Ayo.
both simultaneously, which leads to
Or
horrible liver issues.
right,
Nope.
I've seen Spider-Man swing by to save me when I've been off the pills, for sure. Yeah, pretty run of the mill. I don't really like outside of the art being, cool in spots. This didn't do anything for me.
I didn't get it. Like I didn't get who she was.
I don't
Like,
think there was anything to get.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she's like a version of. Sorry, you're not Gwen. Like is this a character or Nova? Is this a person?
Don't think
don't-
so.
Yeah, for me, this was another one with where the time period is
Mm-hmm.
the key, and I think that has to be post Gwen's death.
Yeah, when like
Right.
Spider-Man's at his most hated, and even when he's at his most hated, he's still saving the little guy. Is what I was getting out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough where like he could remember things about you. You know,
Yeah. So, okay, fine, sure.
it was nice seeing Kamikoli be like tapped for this because Kamikoli did Superior and like formative artist, I think, for Spider-Man in my opinion. So
Common Coley did the run right out of Secret Wars.
yeah, true.
Phenomenal art, and it was with Marta Gracia too. That was where I first saw his work.
I do recommend Undiscovered Country by him and Scott Snyder. It's a very good book.
And Charles Soule.
Mm-hmm.
Can't forget him. So the next story, I also didn't get anything out of. And this was Slaves of the Witch Queen, Slaves of the Witch Queen,
Whoops.
by Kurt Busiek with the Dodsons, Terry Dodson and Rachel. Terry on pencils and colors, Rachel on inks. Joe Sabino did the letters here. This was like they mentioned, it's a sequel to Amazing Fantasy 15. Okay.
My favorite issue.
I think that's a funny Kurt Busiek thing.
Yep.
I think that's it really. Like, I think that's the fun. I thought that was clever and how they tied it into Spider-Man, but that's about it.
Yeah, a little cutesy, I guess.
But also, you give me some Dodson art, and I ain't complaining.
Yes. Yep.
I feel like I've seen stronger. No,
It's,
Yeah.
it's fair.
Yeah.
this
Like
felt
Adventure Man is a lot more, I guess, cleaner.
I
Yeah.
gotta read that.
There's literally in this book, there's like stick figures drawn at one point. In the background, I think of like when they're in like Egypt or whatever, and you can see like the slaves in the background.
just silhouettes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This one was another one that was just like kind of all right. Like it didn't light me on fire. It wasn't too consequential. That's right.
I have to say though, Terry Dodson is one of the most recognizable, like just immediately recognizable artists in comics. Like
Yeah.
they don't list the creative team at the very start of that story, I don't think. Well, they do, but in a cute way that's not like just, text of the title, creator.
Yeah.
And so I didn't immediately, I was like, oh, I don't remember who's doing this one. But then I saw the Witch Queen, and I was like, oh, that's obviously Terry Dodson.
Also, there's something about a Terry Dodson chin that I just love. It's like
Really? I don't like it.
it's like iconic though. It's almost like everyone has like a Buzz Lightyear jawline.
For better or
Yeah.
worse, it's his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shtick that I've learned to enjoy.
I mean, when you look like Spider-Man's
Spider-Man.
chin is sticking out so prominently right there. But that's, that's Dodson for you. Yeah, it's all right stuff.
Was Kurt a Spider-Man writer at some point?
Good question.
Not to my knowledge.
Not that I know of.
I wonder if he just got tapped for this.
I mean, it's Kurt Busiek. You want a guy to write
Yeah.
classic comics that can like call back to some stuff nobody remembers. It's Kurt Busiek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Encyclopedia.
Like Like if Mark Waid's got his bad
Yeah.
books at whatever company whatever week it is, call
Yep.
Kurt Busiek.
Speaking of writers with long memories who will do something with them, the next story was "You Get It" by Jonathan Hickman, with art by Marco Cicchetto, Frank Martin on colors, and Joe Sabino on letters. I loved this one too, and Jonathan Hickman. This was very much a Council of Reeds type of moment for Peter.
Yep.
This is Peter encountering, various different Spider-Man from the Spider-Verse, and that's all cool. Hickman does fine with that concept. This is something that he's used to, and one thing we know about Hickman is he will recycle an idea. Um, but the art is unbelievable.
Yep.
Seeing Chiquetto draw all these different costumes for Spider-Man. And again, people who love Spider-Man are going to recognize a good majority of these and how beautifully rendered they are by Marco. Not
Can I-
this Marco.
Oh,
No,
no. Yeah,
No.
I'll take the credit. Yep.
No.
All right, you muted me, so I'll take the
Can I
credit.
admit something here?
sure. You didn't like it?
I thought I thought the story was fine. I like the whole play on the Council of Reeds, and of course, like Spider-Man would have his own because of the Spider-Verse and the web. But I
Yeah.
thought the Spider-Man costume designs were lacking.
I didn't recognize any of them.
I don't
No?
think they're. I don't think they are. Well, I don't think they're.
Are you kidding me? This is Future Foundation right here.
The white.
It's not.
I don't think it
Yeah.
is.
It's not.
It's not. I've seen this costume 100 million
Well, you've
percent.
seen a
This is-
white
I
and
think it's-
black, but that's not
I think
Future
it's
Foundation.
yeah, I think it's similar, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
Future Foundation.
They're all they're all kind of derivative of other known Spider-Man costumes. Like there's the one with the one eye. I'm like, oh, is that Eiderman? Like
Oh, I guess.
like the Fantastic Four one makes sense, but that's not even the actual Fantastic Four costume we've ever gotten for Spider-Man. Like it looks good. It's Chichetto. It ain't gonna look bad. But like when I've seen Spider-Verses, I've seen like, oh, here's Spider-Ham. Here's the Spider-Man with 4 arms or something. I don't know. I see people have more fun drawing Spider-Verse characters. It's a very small gripe, but
All right, fair enough.
we've praised this book enough.
In any event, the idea that the one thing that all Peters share is that their lives kind of suck was fun for me.
a little tragic, but it was good.
Yeah,
I actually I like the flip side of that idea that Hickman was flirting with. That actually our Peter Parker is the shitty one.
Yeah. I would have liked if he had actually like stuck to that one, because then it's like, oh yeah, I guess like the sum total of all our successes are just what your failures.
There's got to be a bad one.
Well, maybe not bad, but like he
But, like,
consistently
he's
gets the
li-
short end.
But like he's the shitty one.
Yeah. Goes through the worst moments.
Yeah.
And then we had a story that confused me and then delighted me. With Great Power by Neil Gaiman and Steve McNiven. That's wild.
I had no idea this was in this book.
Yep. Richard Eisenov on color, Todd Klein on letters. Yo, this was cool. I really liked this one.
I didn't realize it was McNiven until the last page when they had the credits. I was
Yeah,
like, in my head, I'm
love
like,
that.
what is this? This is like feels like Quietly in a way. It did not feel like McNiven at all, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I actually really enjoyed it. I was getting like Nick Pitara vibes from it, like Manhattan Project sort of stuff. It was very weird to like, oh, it's McNiven shit. When I go back and I see the faces, I'm like, okay, I can see it now. But
Yeah.
it was a little dirtier, a little less clean than I'm used to seeing McNiven, and I liked it honestly.
I liked it a lot. Yeah, I only know McNiven from a few things that we've read, and it always seems like very just as photorealistic as you possibly can try to make it, and then to have this be complete contrast to that was phenomenal, because you're trying to capture here like actual people, right? And so like by not being as realistic with it and being more cartoony, I think that plays well with the concept that that Gaiman's toying with as well.
Mm. Um, I thought it was so cool that he ends up meeting him, and Spider-Man's like this big jerk, he thinks,
Yeah.
but then he leaves him a gift. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the reason why he didn't want to acknowledge him because he showed him who he was when he was when Neil was a kid? Is that the idea?
I didn't get it.
Yeah, I didn't get why that was like. I didn't get why he was an asshole about it.
What I got of it is that he was never actually meeting Spider-Man.
Oh,
It was more of an
okay.
internal thing. Because if you're establishing that Ditko is alive, then I don't think Ditko exists in the Marvel universe. You know what I mean? Like, it's not an Alfred Hitchcock situation.
Well,
I appreciated the fact that this was like, oh, Ditko was the creator. Like, this was like saying like, there's no mention of Stan Lee throughout this whole book, honestly.
Yeah.
yeah.
But there's and like how Ditko was kind of in silhouette the entire time. You never actually see him.
Yeah.
Sort of like, when people reference Alan Moore, as the writer, you never really get the name. I got it as just like, this is just the experience Neil Gaiman has with the character of a Spider-Man, rather than the character actually existing.
I don't like the Stan Lee erasure. I'm not a fan of that. I don't get why he cannot be praised. It's so weird to have Amazing Fantasy 1000 without a lick of Stan Lee.
I wonder if it's a rights thing now, because his whole persona has been, his image has been inundated with people just wanting to bank off of him, and his estate is fully IP'd out. He's not a person anymore. He's like an idea.
Well, he's
he's dead. But the idea of like Stan Lee, like, it's more of a myth really than anything.
At this point.
Yeah,
Which,
fair enough.
Honestly, such a Stan Lee thing. Like,
What do you mean?
that's exactly what the guy would have wanted, I feel.
Oh, to like not even be included necessarily?
No, just to be
To be a myth.
yeah, to be the myth, to
gotcha,
be
gotcha.
the IP, to be
brand,
the story,
yeah.
the
brand,
face
yeah.
of it.
Exactly, yeah.
So much so that his not being included was more than felt.
For me, it was. I just think that's strange. But then there was one last story by Mike Pasculo.
Pashulo?
Where's Pete when you need him?
Olive Garden.
Unfortunately, he has passed. I didn't know that. I've actually never heard of Mike before, unfortunately. But he wrote this along with Todd Knock on pencils and inks, and Rachel Rosenberg on the colors, Joe Sabino on the letters. Any thoughts on this one?
Who is this character?
I don't know.
I think it's someone Mike made up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess this was supposed to be a Spider-Man miniseries that didn't go ahead, but he made it anyway. And this is what
Ooh,
I guess
okay.
is finished of it.
Well, these are the 5 pages that they decided to draw and like actually render.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, it just feels like a pep talk, and
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man's good for one of those, and the art was pretty good. It felt somehow it felt like early 2000s, and I don't know why.
Todd Knock.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay,
I love Todd
well,
Knock though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a classic art style.
This was my pick of the week.
Same.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
holy shit!
Is
yeah,
that 3 of us? Okay.
4.
Yeah. Easy. Yeah.
The Dan Slott story alone, but then there's also, several others that I thought were great. So, um, pretty easy pick. There is another book though that I really enjoyed, and on a lot of other weeks would have been my pick of the week, but we'll get to that. Thunderbolts #1 is up next. This is Jim Zub.
Do you have his tweet memorized still?
Oh
No,
damn!
unfortunately I don't. I wish I did. Um with art by Sean Isaacs.
I believe it's Isaac's. Yeah.
Yeah. Um Java Tartaglia on colors, Joe Sabino on letters. I feel like this book's been on the horizon for quite some time. I feel like it was announced a while
It
ago.
feels late. Like
Mhm.
it feels like not only like in the text we see Monica Rambeau introduce herself as Spectrum, even though a week ago they announced Photon was a book coming out where she's going to be known as Photon. Like it feels like this book should have come out like 3 months ago, like right after Devil's Reign finished.
Yeah, they really took their sweet time with getting this out, and I don't know why.
I mean, when did Devil's Reign finish? It wasn't that long ago.
Shoot. Well, Daredevil's on its what, second issue?
Second or third, maybe.
Third, I believe.
So probably it's like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
It's
Devil's
been-
Reign Omega was in April.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oof, okay.
No. Well,
May.
that
I'm
okay.
seeing
That's
May. I
that's
think
that was the
Devil's
final
Reign,
cutoff
yeah.
date. I'm sorry. It came out in
Oh.
July. No,
Okay.
no.
No.
Okay. The
May-
release
May
date was
25th.
May 25th.
Yeah,
That's
May-
what
May
it says
25th.
right here.
Oh.
That's what it says right here. So,
Mm. Still, like you
Um,
skipped a whole summer.
yeah. I I feel like this is the kind of book that Marvel should have been looking to have out the week after, a month
Yep.
after. Um, the momentum is gone for me. I'm not as compelled as I was to know what happens next with these characters. Um, but that aside, because that doesn't reflect on the quality of the book, I thought this was okay. It was, for me, very first issue, let's assemble the team, which I get why they have to do it, but as someone, if you've been reading comics for a while, you've seen these so many times.
Mhm.
And for me, if there's no variance at all from the beats that we're used to, it's kind of tough to get through, no matter how well everything is executed, which I've had a problem with several times. The Savage Avengers is one that I think of, where it was like, hey, this is all solid work, but we've seen it 150 million times. That's kind of where I landed with this.
I did like how it called itself out, though. It called itself out with like the whole marketing aspect of it. It's like, well, we got to have this character in here for mystery. Oh,
That was good.
we're in here. We have these specific cast members for diversity. Literally calling it out. I thought it was cute. It was fine. In my mind, this is a solid book. Jim Zub has been working on a lot of team books for Marvel that I can remember. I know he's worked on some of the Champion stuff. He worked on one of the Avengers books. I forget what the adjective was, but it was like a weird team with like Hercules and like the Collector's Daughter or something like that. It was a weird team, but it was really like classic, just good Avengers. So whenever Jim Zub's doing a team book, I'm pretty much like, yeah, I can expect this to be like a good 7 or 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like, nothing ever really blows my pants off, but it's always like, this feels like good old classic comics.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to respond before we lose the tail of that. The idea of the book being self-aware. I don't know, that rubbed me the wrong way.
You didn't like that aspect of it?
No, not at all. I don't think that it takes away from me being able to take it seriously. And I really wanted to take it seriously. Like I'll say this up front. I'm not picking up the second issue.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I enjoy the creators on this book quite a bit, but there were too many things that they did that made me not care about what's going to happen, and that was one of them. If you don't take the book seriously, then I'm not going to either. And after what happened in Devil's Reign and how serious that was, I get that there's a need to kind of, PR the Thunderbolts and superhero stuff in New York, but they went too far with it. It's just like very ham-fisted, in my opinion.
The exact things that you're laying out are the reason I was interested in picking up the second one, specifically because I liked. Um, for me, starting this, I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be another. We round up a superhero team, they go fight a thing, and that's it. That to me would have been, for me, just like a worse premise. But the fact that there's at the very least a a bit of an angle in terms of, well, we need the image to be clean, and we need the image to be the thing that we're trying to actually focus on. Like, yes, you're going to do the super heroics, but the differentiator for me was we need it to be done under the guise of, squeaky clean and shiny. And that was the interesting part to me. I'm like, oh, all right, if that's the approach, less so we're trying to just beat up, the villain of the week, then that speaks better to my interests about what this book is going to be. And the fact that we already get, some reveals in the end of things just going haywire with some of the individual heroes. I'm like, oh, how is this going to spell? What is this going to? How will this affect that image, and how are they going to have to, course correct and damage control that?
I just think everything you're saying has been done fairly recently, and has been done a lot better with a lot higher stakes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but an arc of Dark Avengers or something to that effect where that was the point?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
And
the point of
like,
Norman Osborn's entire Avenger squad.
Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah. So I guess maybe not necessarily recently, but they're villains who literally have to like I mean the worst villains too, not just like, you know,
It's Bullseye and Matt Gargan
yeah.
Venom. Like, yeah.
like so these, sidekicks and Hawkeye doing, making mistakes on TV. Big deal. Go join
will
the
say-
Teen Titans, whatever.
I will say I'm curious who this Cable knockoff is. That the actual question of who that guy is, I'm kind of interested in. But the fact that Marco likes it, I think proves that the cookie cutter aspect of it kind of works. Because this is not something you typically read, right, Marco?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I have no context if has been done before.
But the fact that it's working for you, I think, is proof that oh, then I guess it's feels like a solid Avengers West Coast kind of book, like this B-list team, kind of doing its thing.
Oh, I'll never begrudge something working for somebody. That's great. I just don't know if this book will have the legs, and that's what I'm concerned with. I don't think that it did anything in this first issue to convince me that this is appointment television, for lack of a better phrase. And I think, when you're working with a team that's, I mean, the most well-known character on it is certainly Hawkeye. There's a lot of work you have to do, and it's a dangerous climate to be releasing a book like this, I think. But I hope it works out. I really do. I'm gonna pass.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
a Thunderbolts
hard pass for
book.
me, too.
It's a Thunderbolts book for me, so A, it's a pull, and B, I will keep reading it. I've read every issue of Thunderbolts. So
What a crazy thing to be able to say. You you go to the club or the bar and you're trying to get some lady's attention, and you're like, listen,
hey,
you wanna know something cool about me?
I've read every issue of Thunderbolts.
And Dark Avengers, because I feel like that kind of counts.
Oh, dude, as Kel was mentioning that, and he's like, oh, I guess that wasn't that long ago. I'm like, nah, that's over a decade ago at this point.
Yeah, I know.
And then I felt really old.
By the way, maybe I missed something. That was the Hood, right? In this,
Where?
they fight the Hood at some
No,
point.
there's no Hood. That's Taskmaster.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which
He just
I don't like when Taskmaster gets chumped out like that. He knows better.
yeah, I got thrown off by the costume that he's wearing.
It's just thrown together prison garment so he could cover his face.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yet somehow
Well,
he has a
COVID.
shield. Yeah. Oh yeah, Taskmaster, very very COVID conscious.
Well known for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the art's good. I should say that too. The art, I thought the art was good. Not my typical like go-to, but I think it meshes very well with the style of this book.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it meshes very well with the style of this book. So it has that going for it.
I thought the art was serviceable at best. I wasn't a fan of this at all,
All right.
art wise, specifically.
It worked. But yeah, I thought it was serviceable. Nothing egregious or stand out necessarily.
All right. Well, let's talk about Ant-Man #2.
Oh,
Even though the primary character of this book is in fact Ant-Man #3. So this is Al Ewing with Tom Riley on art, Jordi Belair doing the colors, and Corey Pettit on letters. So up front, great creative team. Believe it's the same one as the first issue, and you guys really enjoyed that one. I was really into this one.
Dude,
damn.
Yeah.
welcome to Eric O'Grady, man. I love it.
This was hot, and I like Eric O'Grady from what book
Hickman,
was that, Tyler?
Remender Secret Avengers.
Yes. Oh my
He
god.
gets jobbed out there and then he comes back a villain. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was super cool though.
Yeah.
And so I liked him, and getting to spend a little more time with here I thought was really good. Kale mentioned before when we talked about Amazing Spider-Man the way that a writer can put you in a certain time period. This put us in the time period just before Secret Invasion, where Hank Pym is actually a Skrull, and he's behind the scenes helping to run the initiative and all that stuff, but he's a Skrull. And we never, well, I shouldn't say never, I don't recall getting a book at that time where we got to sort of see more of his perspective on what was going on. Maybe there was and I missed it. But so spending a little time in that era with this character, especially knowing what happens, was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. And then the whole Eric O'Grady aspect of it was great. Great showing for a character who, doesn't pop up too much.
He's a dipshit. I love it.
course you
I
would.
will say, Tom Riley. So, Phil Hester drew the original
Yeah.
Irredeemable Ant-Man with Robert Kirkman on writing it, and Tom Riley does an insanely good Phil Hester
Man.
impression. I
That
thought
makes
this was Phil
sense.
Hester.
I did too.
Just the way it's
I,
colored too, and I was like, "What? How did you do that?"
It's the shadows. It's the inks.
Those heavy inks.
Yes.
Yep.
That's wild. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I'm
The-
like, this
the-
looks a little. This deviates a bit.
Dude, the art literally transported me back in time. It was wild. Yeah, I love this. I'm a big Eric O'Grady guy, so I have the first issue of Irredeemable Ant-Man that I've always wanted to get signed. And I also as a college kid, I'm like, yo, this is gonna be the Ant-Man in the movie. I guarantee it. Well, I was wrong on that front, but
This,
So, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, this I really enjoyed the first issue, and this took me out of it. This isn't a time period I'm necessarily familiar with, and the character I didn't find him sympathetic or likable.
He's not.
yeah, he's not.
That's the
Same guy
gimmick,
who
buddy.
shrinks down to watch women shower. Yeah.
Stop.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Yeah. Oh, Marco's back in.
I thought the fight was cool, and the way that Skrull Pym had to like try to come and clean up his mess, and then he realized, oh, this guy's just like an idiot. I thought that was at least funny. That worked for me. But otherwise, I don't want to see this guy lead a book that I'm reading.
Dude,
It wasn't interesting.
the reference to Lost, like that's what Eric would want to know about.
Yo,
Yeah.
I was like, again, transported me back in time. I was like,
That
yeah, that's what
got
I
me.
want to know about too. Yeah.
and you know what I was thinking? I was like, wait a second. He could have asked about the Sopranos finale. Those two things don't align. And I was like, oh shit, they do.
He literally has the same epiphany you did.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, I could have asked about the Sopranos finale. It's great. Yeah. This is like when I started reading comics, so like this is a real soft spot for me. When like I was reading week to week, I love this stuff.
Yeah, man. Like we are cut from the same fucking cloth when it comes to like that era in comics.
Yeah.
I think if you pit any story and you tell it between the period of Civil War and Heroic Age, I'm in.
Dude,
That's
if you say
great.
the words Avengers Initiative, I'm in. Like that's all
Yup.
you got to
Yep.
say. I'm like, oh yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about Cloud9. Why don't we?
And you know what's funny? We are those pieces of shit that are buying, and I say that respectfully, they're buying the 90s revival books. We're those people. Whenever they get around to the 2000s,
Oh.
we're going to be
Yes.
defending those books. They're
Yeah.
going to bring Bendis back. They're going to bring back everybody.
What is
They're
it?
going to bring everybody.
Butterball was one of the Avengers Initiative characters. There was Hardball. There was Cloud9. Like, give me more Gauntlet. Like
The
yo,
dude, yeah, Gauntlet. Gauntlet was my
Yeah.
guy, yeah.
MVP. There was
Fucking
another one. I'm coming.
Penance.
Different MVP.
Penance.
Dude,
Oh, my
love
God, dude.
Penance. Love
When I was
Yeah.
16 years old and emo and dark, Penance was my guy. I was like, yes.
And the reveal that he's actually a Speedball. I was like, oh.
Incredible.
What was the thing we read with that? Fuck.
Thunderbolts? Did you read Thunderbolts?
Civil War.
No,
Yeah,
it was,
no.
yeah.
Oh, yes,
Well,
it was
the-
a Civil War.
What
yeah,
was
yeah.
the thing? Oh,
was
the most
Frontline,
formative
right?
comic in the past century.
Frontline, yeah.
That was good. Comes out. All right. I know what you
Hell
guys are
yeah,
talking about
dude.
now.
Yup.
When you
This
were
is that
mentioning
era.
like I've only read a couple of things Steve McNiven was in. I'm like, yo, Marco, just mention Civil War. It's fine.
Right. Like you can cover all your bases, dude. Just say Civil War.
I was
Civil War,
the first
Old
thing I
Man
was thinking
Logan.
of.
Those are like the two
That's
big
all I
ones
was
right
thinking
there.
of. Old Man Logan. And I was like, Old Man Logan and probably something else.
So yeah, this is a very simple story. You know, it's Eric O'Grady trying to steal Pym Tech or whatever, the shrink tech from the dead body of Scott Lang, which I didn't realize Scott Lang was dead. So that was interesting to learn. Whether or not that matters right now, I don't know. But at the time, I guess he was dead. I didn't know that.
Yo, how he dies too?
Who got him?
Was it Jack of Hearts when he explodes? Is that what happens, or
Yeah.
was it Vision?
Oh.
It's Avenger Disassembled.
I read that. I guess I just didn't care
Well,
about Scott Lang.
Scott Lang
so-
is just a small part of that story.
Way.
Yeah, fair enough. But he's trying to dig up his dead body, and then he has to contend with Hank Pym, and Hank's like, "Wait, you don't even know how your suit works? Oh, you're a waste of my time."
Yeah.
But more so, it was that he didn't realize Eric didn't know that Hank was a Skrull, which was what Hank was worried about. So
And the retcon that this suit has Skrull Tech in it is great.
yeah, random. But sure, I'll take it. I really like this. This
Yeah.
easily could have been my book of the week. If Amazing Spider-Man wasn't a part of our pools this week, or
So
Amazing
we-
Fantasy, right?
We get Scott next issue. What era of Scott Lang do we get? Do we get like 90s Avengers, or do we get like FF Scott Lang? Like I don't know where we go with
That's
that.
the one I hope it is.
Oh, I love FF Scott Lang.
Yeah.
Dealing with the death of his kid, sort of. I know it's rough, but like it's good stuff.
I didn't. I hope it's not the who's the guy that did
Is it Nick Spencer?
Hail High Secret Empire.
Yeah, Nick Spencer.
Nick Spencer.
I didn't like his stuff,
Oh, I like that stuff.
so I hope it's not him.
Me neither.
We'll find out. Pulls all around, but Marco, I assume.
I'll pull it for the third issue.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Eric O'Grady will pull it too.
I bet he would.
Yep. He stays pulling it. So now we're going to talk about the listener pick. So we said we would allow listeners to suggest a book. We'd have an open listener spot. We kept to our word. Few members on Discord suggested some books for us. Kefis suggested DC Saved by the Bell, or Saved by the Bell Reeve, I think it was called.
Bell
Yeah,
Reeve
yeah.
saves DC.
Oh, okay, there you go.
No,
Whatever it was.
it's Saved by the Bell Reeve, yeah.
I thought about Saved by the Bell, yeah. And we would have picked it, but we had this amazing fantasy juggernaut that we had to get through, and that's like another $10 major big book. So we decided to go with Nihilist's pick of Forever Forward, or Forward Forever, however it's said.
Forever, you got
Forward,
it right.
yeah.
Forever
yeah.
Forward. And again, it's a Scout Comics book, so new to us. And you know what? I realize now, the copy we have, I don't even have the creative team in front of me.
It's I can get it.
Yeah,
It's
please.
Zach Kaplan with art by Arjuna Susini.
Thank you. So this book, I thought I would like it. I thought I would be interested in it. But in terms of the premise, it's like, oh, hey, these characters, they end up going to the future. And, the way it starts, it's like this future empire world. And, the principal characters are like these renegades or whatever. And I was like, oh, shit, okay, let's go. You can always get me with the future. But then it goes to the past, and I proceeded to not feel anything about anything I read. And when the book ended, I was like, oh, that's it?
It was abrupt.
Yeah. And look, writing comic books is hard. When you're talking about an issue 1, look, hey, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20, you get to get deep into your story, right? Issue 1, you have to convince a person who doesn't otherwise care about you that they need to spend $4.99, $3.99 on your story. And you have one shot a lot of the time to knock it out of the park, and it's hard to do. And we always talk about that issue 1 formula, but that mostly exists within the big 2. Outside of the big 2, you don't have the ability to say, well, Spider-Man, right? Whoever. Like, you have to introduce these characters, introduce the premise, tell me why I should care. And unfortunately for me, this book did not accomplish that, because the end of it didn't promise me anything interesting. The promise is at the front of the book. The promise is that future. But I sort of feel like that should be the story, and all this extra other background stuff that we saw should be done in flashback or something like that. I wanted to see the future. If there's conflict between these people, if they're mad at each other, if they're mad at the guy whose time travel device this was, set the tension up, but let us know why they're mad through flashback, so that the meat of the story can be the stuff that's the most interesting.
You don't even have to do it through flashback. Just do it through good dialogue.
Whatever you want to do.
Yep.
I just don't think that this method was the most effective for making me want to plunk down money for the subsequent issue.
Can I just go on my soapbox for a second?
Yeah.
Call
Call it something else, though. That's copyrighted.
Tyler's what's alliteration? Is there a toolbox? Tyler's
Tiles.
That doesn't get me very high up.
Well,
His tower.
Tyler's
There we
Tower.
go. Well, it's too high up. I'm gonna go with toolbox. It's enough.
All right.
It's too high.
I will say Scout Comics. I could not find this comic on Comixology. I had to. We had to go. I had to go to like Scout Comics' website to download a digital copy, which is a PDF form that they emailed to me, which didn't have a cover on it on the actual document, and the digital book itself looked like it was in production pages, because the actual like gutters weren't cleaned up. You can see like the it almost looked like a preview, and even the file type said
Yeah.
preview in the file.
It is,
Um,
yeah.
So I was like, did you release the wrong book? And with the abrupt ending, I'm almost like, I feel like there might have been something else here. The page count
Yeah.
adds up, but it felt weird in terms of you got to work in your digital comics. It's 2022. Like, I understand, like, maybe you can't be in comicsology for some reason, but if you're gonna offer a digital comic, offer the finished one. I think, which sucks too because it's a great Jacob Phillips cover. Like, I don't get that digitally either.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's Jacob Phillips.
Oh, damn. Wow, I didn't see the covers.
I think I'm less harsh on the actual story than you were, Sean. I thought it was pretty. I actually kind of enjoyed it. I like the sort of near future they jumped to, which is like this: U.S. is in a civil war and the Russians have capitalized on that, and now they're attacking the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought that was like an interesting, like almost too close to home kind of near future, where I can see every issue being them going forever forward. Until they get to that far, far future we see in the beginning of the book. I do almost dislike that we saw that at the beginning of the book, because that's just like a trope, I think, with like writers. It's like, oh, let's jump to the future and then we'll go back and tell the story. It just it seems like a crutch that a lot of writers use. That's overused in my opinion. But I thought the actual premise of the book is fine. I wish we can learn a little bit more about our other characters besides our main, I don't know, detached science guy, Reed Richards stereotype. But I am curious to see where the book goes. I'm assuming that the book goes forward, but I'll have to see.
I almost
You have to
kind of
go-
wish it went backward.
You have
Can't
to
go
go forward
backward.
to
It's
go back.
established.
What if it went to issue 0? That would be pretty cool.
That would be kind of cool.
I don't think
And then-
Scout's website could handle that.
No. Go ahead, Marco.
I think the art saved it for me. I had
Yeah.
a bit more issues with the script than I think Tyler did, but not as much as Sean. But for me, the saving grace here was the art, the style, and the colors. I thought were all well done. It has like these textures on them. Almost makes it feel like a little bit more painterly. Like, there's almost like these like watercolor looks to them sometimes. I thought that was well done. Some of the facial structure probably could use a bit of work, but otherwise, yeah, that was solid and kept me engaged throughout the book. If it wasn't for that, I definitely got frustrated with the doctor Lewis, and I didn't like him as the driving force here, like him being our POV character necessarily. I didn't care for him and the interactions with his like supposed friends. Like, this was his best friends in the world, and this guy's just being an asshole. But beyond that, I think I'm with Tyler in that I at least got enough that I might be interested for coming back. But that ending was so abrupt that it caught me for a second, and I'm just like, I don't know where it could possibly go from here, and not in a good way.
I could maybe see myself picking up a trade of this, just because the experience of buying it digitally was too much of a pain in the ass for me.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
That's what I was going to say, too. That ending reads a lot better when you just turn the page and the next issue starts. And I think that's another fatal flaw. Like, you can't... I mean, I don't know. Maybe the creative team knows that they're going to get, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth issues, and that the trade will come. Maybe that's some kind of a guarantee that they have. It's hard for me to believe that in this industry. And so this just seems like a big risk, which, again, to Tyler's point, is why they started the issue the way they did. So that you have the hook up front, like, hey, we'll get here eventually. And hopefully you care enough to find out how that you'll put your money down. And it seems like it worked for you guys, and that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Like, if I'm at like a convention and I go to like the Scout Comics booth and I see this as a trade, like, I'd pick it up, just based on this issue alone. Be like, oh, you know what? I did read that and I thought it was okay. I was just annoyed at the experience of it.
And Zach Kaplan, I feel like, has been a name that's been coming up recently as well. I've seen Port of Earth, and I've heard good things about it, as well as Eclipse. and most recently Mindset, which I think is with Andrea Moody. And I was thinking about picking
Oh,
up the first issue if I do it. Let me not lie. Hold on.
Yeah, I did hear stuff about Port of Earth.
Oh, John Pearson. Never mind. But the covers on it look phenomenal, and the book looks really interesting. It's a vault book.
all right. I'm gonna say pass.
If I could get this on Comixology, I would probably have continued. I would get
Oh.
the second one, but that experience was rough. Even and Tyler was the one that did it, so
Yeah. I would say trade weight. That's an option we have, right?
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
I think I'm also a wait.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't so egregious that I hated it. The premise is decent, but I do agree that the execution is a little too tropey, and I think it wants to be character driven, but it's going about it the slow way.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna do it for our reviews this week. But the show's not over because last week I was tagged in Comics Tag, which
That's right.
is yes, this is the part of the show where one of us gets to force the other to read a book. And then the subsequent week, that person has to come and share their thoughts about the book. Now, unfortunately, I did not read the book.
Get out.
No, I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm lying. I did read it.
I would have actually been upset. I was like,
No.
genuinely, I was like, oh, I don't recommend books on this one that are like meant to be mean or memes.
Yeah. No, no, no. I read it. So I was tagged with Olympia. This was
Oh
by
yeah,
Kurt and Tony Pyers, with Alex Diodato, or Diato, D. Conniff, and Micah Myers. I don't know if I've read anything with Micah Myers on it before. It's weird to know a creator more from social media than
You,
actually from their work.
I feel you've definitely read a Micah Myers
Think so.
book.
It's very possible. I just
Yeah, he's been-
can't recall.
After the whole social media thing, like he got a lot of work. So, yeah.
So I didn't really know quite what to expect. Marco did explain loosely what the book was, and I was like, okay, sure, let's see what happens. I really liked it.
Yes.
I really liked it. It was interesting. So it's this kid who's reading a comic book about this character, and then the character basically crash lands and is dying right next to the kid after he finishes reading the book. Um, I like the meta aspect of it. I thought that was really cool. I have a lot of questions. I should say, I got through the whole first issue. I didn't get to go past the first issue, but the first issue was like double size or something. And I got through all that. Um, it does just enough question asking, like forcing me to ask questions, mixed with interesting character moments. Like, I want to know where the hell did this dude come from? Like, how is it possible that he's here? This kid was reading him in a comic book, and now he's on Earth. I want to know more about that. What else is out there? I have a lot of questions. The art I really liked as well. I can't really say exactly who it makes me think of, but I don't know. I thought it was good.
It's meant to evoke like some of the comics, the in comic stuff is meant to evoke like Jack Kirby a lot of the
Right.
time.
Yeah. Which that I got, but I guess I meant like the outside of the comic
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I did like that style, and it was a nice touch to differentiate. This is in the comic the kid loves to read versus this is in the quote unquote real world. This is something I kind of wish I had known I would like when it was coming out.
I remember this being very much a book that as I was reading, I'm like, okay, Phil's gonna like this, and I think Sean might actually, because of that meta aspect, because of the way that it deals with like what superheroes mean, and I think the art as well. So like I'm glad you enjoyed it because and the questions that you're asking are exactly the kind of questions that get answered in like tremendous fashion.
And it's only 5 issues, you said?
Yep, super quick.
I might have to finish it up.
I think it reads pretty well in trade.
Okay. So, I actually want to do a themed tag. But there's only one person I can target with this because only one of us hasn't read it. And of course, that would only leave Marco.
Damn.
I thought it would. I mean, you could have left me.
No. We've read all the same shit, Tyler. You know that.
It's very hard to tag you, Sean. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tag you. It's quite frankly, it's hard to tag Kale. But harder to tag you, Tyler. So I think, Marco, that there's a chance you might enjoy Thunderbolts by Warren Ellis.
Oh.
Like top 5 comics for me.
Hold on a
Yes.
second.
This is the good shit. This is the good shit. This is my first introduction to the Thunderbolts. This is after Secret Invasion. No, this is not after Secret Invasion. This is before Secret Invasion.
During
this is Marvel?
War.
During Civil War, yeah.
Oh damn.
This is Norman Osborn. Yeah, there it is. Boom. I have that same one. Is that the hardcover or the soft cover?
It's
I
a
got the
soft
soft.
cover.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, even though it's soft, I read it and get hard. So
The team is great.
Songbird.
Yep. Moonstone, the cancer guy, the radioactive man. The team is fantastic. Oh, Venom, right? Isn't Venom on the team?
It's Matt Gargan Venom too. So
Yes,
Scorpion
Matt
Venom.
Gargan
Yeah.
Venom.
It's,
Which-
Union Jack shows up too early on. Oh,
Yep. Phenomenal run. I'm going to be choosing it for a book club soon, but I figured you could get a preview. Read at least the first issue.
Paul Jenkins.
Warren Ellis.
Warren
no.
Ellis.
It's Warren Ellis and Mike Deodato.
Yeah, that was my first
before
introduction.
Twitter, where Mike Deodato can start flexing on people on his Twitter instead.
Oh, I see. Okay. I got it here.
Oh yeah, did you see it? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
When,
I woke
when
up
an
and saw
old
that
man
and went
looks
right
better
back
than
to bed.
Namor.
So that'll be your tag, Marco.
All right.
Oh man, it's so good.
Sounds good.
Swordsman. Totally forgot about Swordsman.
Swordsman.
Creepy Swordsman too. Creepy Swordsman.
Yeah. Man. God, that was so good.
Kale, am I gonna like this?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
So
You're a pervert.
If you can get past the Deodato art, like I don't like that's the only I love it, but I feel like Marco might not.
I like Deodato.
Yeah.
He did.
Okay, all right.
Was it not all robots recently?
He did. Yep.
with
Is
yeah.
it
that's-
similar style or?
He was. I mean, it's just the same.
It's gritty.
Shtick, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just,
All
Deodato
right,
draws a good robot. It's just sometimes the people can be a little too photo referencing, in my opinion. But
Okay.
Yeah, wait till you see his Norman Osborn.
Oh, dude.
you mean Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah,
It's perfect. It's
it
like
is
yeah.
absolutely
it's
is.
weird that it is, and I feel like if they were making a movie with like Norman Osborn in it in the 90s, yeah, get Tommy Lee Jones. Why not? He could be the Green Goblin. He's probably a goblin in real life. I don't know.
Sounds like he's the opposite.
No. I
Sean,
hope
you're
so.
gonna make me want to read this too.
I'm making myself want to read it. That's why I said I'm going to pick it for the book club.
Let's all read it and make it a book club.
Only the fans can make that happen. And I'll say how in a moment. But
there was a short box on this too. I did do this when I did the long box. Yeah,
well, you might be doing it again soon. Hopefully, you have more
Gladly.
thoughts.
gladly. You think I remember?
Let's get into our Pals Pulls. So Pals Pulls, the segment is where we tell you guys about the books that we are looking forward to next week.
Yeah, so I don't have a list of who's who, but I'm going to go off memory. Sean, you picked Immortal X-Men number 6. It's a Judgment
Yes, I
Day
did.
tie-in.
So I am super hyped for Mortal X-Men. It's been quite good so far. especially with the news about Sins of Sinister. It appears to be an event that's going to spin out of AXE Judgment Day / Immortal X-Men, and I think Immortal X-Men will deal with it to some degree. I don't have the answer key, if you will, right in front of me, but we know that the sinister secrets set up in issue 1 of Immortal X-Men are all answered by the subject of an issue of Immortal X-Men. So I'm anxious to go back and look at that answer sheet and see how that lines up with what Immortal X-Men 6 is going to be about. I'm looking forward to that.
And it looks like it's a Sebastian Shaw issue too, so
Nice.
a fancy man's gonna get some spotlight on him.
Oh yeah.
You also have Batman number 127.
Yeah. Fail safe. So last issue, I mean we talked about it at the time. We see Batman has gone into his failsafe as the Batman of Zor-N-Arr to counteract this killer machine robot that Batman apparently created as a failsafe for if and when Batman commits murder. So Zor-N-Arr Batman, of course, comes from literally my favorite comic book run ever, Grant Morrison's Batman R.I.P. And I haven't seen this, iteration of the character since then, I don't think. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. This should be a cool flashback. Zdarsky has been doing a phenomenal job. Can't wait for more.
Marco, you picked Shock Shop by Cullen Bunn, Danny Luckert, and Nate Picos. This is a Dark Horse book.
Yeah, this is also a horror anthology, and so
okay.
right in Bunn's sweet spot. Luckert's does some really good work, and I think the some of the concepts here are pretty interesting. I'm gonna read you one, and you tell me if this makes sense. One of the tales, In Familiars, it's called. After a painful divorce, Trevor rents a house and tries to rebuild his life. Soon he discovers that his house appears to be haunted by more than one spirit, and the creatures begin feeding on Trevor's feelings of anger and guilt.
The character's name was originally Tyler, but I told him he had to change that.
Ah, okay, yeah, rights issues, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say Cullen Bunn. Bunn's sweet spot is called the prostate. Bunn.
Oh, okay. Well done. I'll give it
I will
to you.
say, horror anthologies are kind of my bag right now in comics, so I might be down for this.
And if is the vote still going on, or for the next book club?
No, it ended on Tuesday. I
don't know who won.
looked on Tuesday, and Blackest Night was winning by a landslide. So I'll check again real quick and make sure that that's still the case.
I was gonna say there's another anthology, horror anthology in particular, was up for there. So
Yeah, well, I don't know if that even had votes, unfortunately.
I'm
Man,
very
y'all
much.
fucking lame. Y'all fucking lame.
How dare you?
Oh, give me the superhero book.
This is a
Grow up.
book. Well, Marco,
Cullen Bunn
you and I both picked Fantastic Four: Full Circle by Alex Ross.
Yes, you speak to this.
Oh, that's out next week. Ooh.
I think it is out. It's one of those things with the trades and the hardcovers where it comes out a week earlier in comic shops. So I believe it is available in comic shops now, but everyone else can get it next week. So that sort of thing.
A little cheap.
This looks wild. This is Alex Ross drawn Fantastic Four, which alone, that's good enough for me. But it's like colored like it's the back section of Spencer Gifts. This is like a blacklight poster. It's trippy as fuck. And this is all by him too. So like, I'm on the record of saying Alex Ross is one of the goats in my opinion. I think that's indisputable. And I love a good Fantastic Four story. So I'm ready for this.
The art in particular, the stuff that he does is just so well rendered, and this feels like he's almost changing up his style a little bit more. Sometimes the colors aren't as lush as they are here. They're a bit more washed out, and you get your random lights from different places and whatnot. but this one feels like he like really dipped his pen in a lot of just ink there, and I'm glad to see that he's playing with that a bit. It feels almost like he's going to like some gouache instead of his typical like, watercolors.
Almost looks like Mike Spicer colored this like
It's
little
buck wild.
Buck Wild, yeah. Whoa. Did we just say Buck Wild at the same time? That's a weird
I-
thing to say at the same time.
That's fuck wild.
And then I picked She-Hulk #6 because this is an issue where Nightcrawler goes to her for some help. You throw Nightcrawler in a comic, I'm going to read it. And there's a cover with Jen Bartel drawing a very dapper-looking Nightcrawler wearing a little, looks like a tweed suit. I'm into it. I am into that. I love.
I just realized Nightcrawler cannot wear shoes. Like there's literally no shoes.
No. He is not a sneakerhead.
Damn.
You get those new Nikes.
You could probably get those like weird like Japanese anime kid shoes, you know, those like ninja ones with the split toe.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What about
What about
the back
Yeah.
toe?
Well, he just
It's a
cut
slipper.
it out. Oh, the back's open already. There you go.
Yeah,
You
back
could probably do a form of Crocs maybe. But yeah, that's She-Hulk.
I was gonna say for Fantastic Four Full Circle. I don't know if you saw the pre-order prices, Tyler, but hardcover and also for anything else is $25 and or $20. With Comixology Unlimited, you're getting it for $10. So
What,
just throwing
digital?
it out there? Yeah, digital.
Yeah, but you're getting it digital.
Yeah.
I don't think you want.
Hold on,
Alex Ross thing
motherfucker.
digital.
Get
You're
him.
about to get Alex Ross on digital?
Yeah.
No.
I see a
Marco?
spot in that shelf. There's an opening
Marco?
right there.
Get your ass to Midtown Comics. You buy that motherfucking book. Go to your comic shop. Buy that motherfucking book. You are gonna ruin your whole experience if you get this book on digital. Are you fucking kidding me right
You
now?
can't make me, Daddy. You never go to my
Marco?
baseball games.
Shh. You're grounded. You're done.
They did soccer.
That got really personal.
God.
But I agree with Kale.
I
fucking
agree.
Piss me off.
I'm gonna third that one. There are some creators that
Alex
you don't
Ross
read
digital. Get the
digitally.
fuck out of here.
It's Alex Ross is one of them. What are you gonna read Marvels on an iPad? No.
Marco,
Jesus.
look, I
Kingdom
I-
Come on an iPhone.
as a
Oh.
fan of you, right? As a fan of you, I think that you should take this back because the listeners are going to eat you alive. Like this is a crazy take. It's an anti comics take. It really is. Alex Ross, digital, come on.
I think it's honestly offensive.
Yeah.
We're gonna come in next week. We're gonna read it, and you're gonna see it right here.
We're not gonna see.
I
it because
wish
there's
we
glare.
were going
You
to be
can't see
reading
it.
it,
I'll-
but
I'll break your iPad. Don't even fucking think.
You go ahead. You get on a plane and you do that.
Okay.
wow.
Actually, I could just send you a file that I can accidentally make him open up that might bork his software. But you know,
No.
Ooh, you have that type of power. Listen, I got
send him a
enemies.
zip file
I got a
bomb.
lot of enemies.
Speaking of, let's see.
Oh, look, a physical
that.
Alex Ross.
is that a first printing?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Look at
And hold on.
that. Don't open it up. What are you doing? You're getting
It's already
fingerprints
open.
on it.
You're
It's
gonna
already open.
freak Tyler the fuck out. Stop it.
I'm gonna end the stream early.
And hold on.
Fucking
Oh
asshole.
no! Is it signed?
It is.
Oh, close that. Close it right now. Is it signed by Busiek too?
What happened?
Who's it signed by?
Both of them.
And you touched it. You fucking jerk.
And I know where you
It's
live.
number, and you know what? It's number 2323.
That doesn't mean anything to me. But
No, nothing. It's just it's a.
what are you into numerology? You're like that guy from the rehearsal.
Wow, that was a despicable act. Deplorable.
It's Alex
Man.
Ross.
Just for that, Marco, you owe me your copy.
Specifically, this copy.
Yes. Wow, that
All
was
right.
nuts. Tyler, do you have anything else?
Kale. Yeah, we didn't do Kale's. Kale's doing Kaiju Max season 6.
Yeah,
The
this is
season
it.
or the volumes, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is it. This is the end of it. Feels like this
Oh.
series has been going for years.
Like, since I've read comics.
But this is the end. So this book, for anyone who somehow doesn't know, it's about a prison island for uh, Godzilla. So it's basically the prison show Oz meets Godzilla
Mm,
and everything sort of surrounding that.
did you ever see Oz?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
happens when Mothra goes in the
And
shower?
my man, I'm making that that comparison on purpose.
Really?
There's
Is there
yeah,
kaiju sodomy in this?
there's a prison rape scene, I think, in the first
Jesus Christ.
in in the first volume.
What?
I'm not,
Book club? Yeah.
You started this off with, if you guys don't know about Kaiju Max, I'm like, yeah, I know about it. And then you ended it with, I had no idea what this book was about.
That was dark as
listen,
shit.
I said what I said.
He said, Oz, not Prison Break. Yeah, that's true. Yep, that's a... All right. Well, then you're also...
I know what I'm talking about. I
you're also
don't. I
picking
wouldn't
up-
invoke. I have the trauma from Oz. I wouldn't invoke something that deeply scarring.
Well, I have the trauma from Kaiju Max now. Thanks, Kale.
Listen, book club. Let's go.
No, the audience is not choosing that.
Then you're also picking up Apache Delivery Service Volume 1, or is it just a trade? I don't think it's a volume.
I
think
believe
it's
it's just a trade. Yeah.
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 I really enjoy. I think we did 2 issues.
Yep.
We definitely did 1. I really enjoyed this. I didn't read the full thing. I'm glad I didn't, so I can get the full experience. But Matt Kint and Tyler Jenkins got that hot hand. It's about 2 men looking for treasure after World War II, and they're being chased by a serial killer.
Good stuff. It was good.
Sick.
And those are our pals polls.
All right, very good. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed listening to us talk about the books this week. Remember the listener vote, the listener pick. We want you guys to tell us what you think we should be reading. Make sure to vote. It's open voting, so just share whatever book you think we should read that's coming out this week. Whatever you're excited about, send it our way. Let us know, and we will choose the book we think is the most interesting, and we'll read it. Or the book that gets the most votes. If a bunch of you really want us to read, like
Kaiju Max.
no,
Rewatch Oz?
Betty Page,
Oh, they're
then
gonna say
we'll
Mis-
read Betty
Mr. Boop.
Page.
Mr. Boop.
Ooh.
Oh, that could be a book club.
Yeah.
Vampirella.
Sean would hate that.
Yeah, he would.
Listen, I'll call in a favor if I have to.
Dude, I'm totally making Mr. Boop an option next time.
You go ahead, dude. No one's gonna know what it is. They're not gonna pick
I'm
it.
gonna campaign.
Matt canceled his patronage. He's not there to help you,
I'll
Tyler.
make separate accounts just to pick it.
That's collusion, and it's against the law.
What are you gonna indict me
Not
now?
ours.
Yes,
What, British law?
against Washington Heights law.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, speaking of the vote, if you would like to take part in the next book club vote, the way you can do that is by joining us over on Patreon. If you want to, not only do you get the opportunity to cast your vote for our book club, but you also get a shout out on the show and a superhero or supervillain nickname. You get our newsletter, you get palling around, a lot of cool stuff there. So yeah, check that out. If you want to watch this show live, we are live every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and then we post the show Fridays. For the main show, we are live Saturdays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Then we post up on Monday. This week, we are talking about the cancellation, the official cancellation of the DC fandom.
Man.
Some hot tamales. You heard of the hot coffee fiasco circa 2006 and Grand Theft Auto?
I knew about hot coffee. That's
Yes, we got the hot tamales controversy of 2022.
the fandom
And
thing's a bummer.
more. Yeah.
Out of all the years, I needed some dome.
in this time of need.
When I needed DC the most, they let me down.
You know what? There's literally nothing good to talk about as it relates to DC films, so might as well not have a fandom. What the hell are they going to show? All the movies they showed last year are still not out, except Batman.
That's true. Yep.
They got nothing to talk about. So we also have nothing to talk about for today. So tune in Saturday to hear what we have to say about those topics and many more. Thank you guys so much for listening. Until next time, we're the Comics Pal signing off. Take care, guys.
See you next week.